Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a hauling or stalling eyeshadow edition. As you know, the holidays are coming up and there is so many makeup. There's so many makeup. There's so much makeup. So much of it that is coming out. A lot of it has come out already and they're titled holiday and we're still mid-September and they're already out at Sephora. And so I, for one, have been very, very overwhelmed. I don't know what I want to pick up, what I want to pass on. So I decided of doing this hauling or stalling series in which I break it down to different editions because it's just becoming so, there's so much out there. And I don't know, there's just so much to choose from and I don't know, you know, what to splurge on, what not to splurge on. So I figure if I break it down into categories, I will be able to. So we're going to have like a collections edition and a holiday. I will have holiday edition, a holiday edition. This is purely eyeshadow palettes that are coming out or have come out and they are not holiday or they're not labeled as holiday on Trend Mood's Instagram page. So I will be following the Trend Mood Instagram page. I have my list right here of eyeshadow palettes and we're just gonna go down the list. And speaking of eyeshadow palette, or if you are interested in what I have on my eyes today, full from bottom to top, including brow bone highlight and inner corner highlight. I was playing around with the Juvia's Place the Masquerade Mini and this is what she looks like. The shade right here for inner corner highlight is stunning, as you can see. This is a really pretty palette, so I was just playing around with it, and that's what I have on my eyes today, if any of you were interested. So, before we head into the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, leave me any comments, anything you'd like to say, leave it down below. You can just say hey, or let me know what you plan on picking up if you plan on picking up any of these products. And yeah, let's just get into the video. Starting off with a brand, Viseart, however you say it. I think it's Viseart, but it's up for discussion. First, we're going to talk about this palette right here. And this is the Libertine palette. And I have one of these palettes. It's called the Golden Hour palette. I paid like $50 for it. This one is going to be $49. I probably paid the same amount for that one. And I feel like the one that I have is not half as pretty as this one is, but it's a lot for a palette and I don't feel like there's anything extra special about it. I mean, I heard like all people like boasting like, oh, Viseart mattes, they blend so well, better than any other mattes and all this stuff. And so I wanted to buy one that wasn't gonna break the bank. So I picked this one up and I don't see the hype really about it, so I will be stalling on that one. Another one by Viseart is the Grande Pro palette, and this is a whopping $175. Don't get me wrong, this palette is stunning. Like, I can't. It's a beautiful palette. It's really, really pretty, but it's $175. What? That for one eyeshadow palette? That I can't even explain that to myself or to the world. I can't justify that for anything. So unfortunately, I'm gonna be stalling on that one too. She's gonna be stalling on it as well. Next up, we have the Charlotte Tilbury Stars in Your Eyes palette. And I've never purchased anything by Charlotte Tilbury. I think a lot of her stuff is overpriced for nothing. And I don't know, it reminds me of one of the Naked palettes by Urban Decay. And it looks really pretty, but I don't know. It's just a lot, and I don't know how much this is. It doesn't say it on Trend Mood's site, on Trend Mood's page, but I will look it up and see. It's supposed to be on their website tomorrow, So by the time I have this up, I will see if the price of it is available. And yeah, it's a blah palette that's probably going to cost a fortune. That's why there's so many that look just like it. No, I can't do it. Next, we're going to talk about two Morphe palettes. First up, we have this one right here, and this is the Boss Mood palette. And it's interesting, I guess. I'm just really over these giant palettes. I look at them and I'm not inspired. I'm just overwhelmed with the multitude of shades that you get. So I'm just kind of looking at it like, like, would I really use that palette? Whereas if you were to break it up into 9 shades, break up that one palette into 9 shades, I would probably be like, oh my gosh, this color story is awesome. Like, there's greens, or there's a purple color story, or a red color story, or a brown color story. You know, looking at it with all these shades, I couldn't even begin to consider what I would do with it. And then same thing with the Morphe 35V palette. It's the same thing. It's just a lot. It's a lot of shadow. And I'm not a big fan of the Morphe eyeshadow formula anyway. I mean, I think they're all right, and they're very decently priced. Like, the 35V is $24. That's incredible. You get 35 shades. But the palette is so enormous. And for me and what I use my makeup for, I just use it on me. I don't need like a variety of shades in one palette. I like to take my favorite palette with me on vacation, and huge 35 pan palettes don't exactly travel well. And the Morphe palette, the Morphe packaging isn't exactly the most sturdy thing in the world, and it's not for me. It's not for me. Sorry, not interested. So I will be stalling on that as well. Another palette that is big like that, but on the more expensive side, is this one right here, the Sephora Pro Nudes. And it's $68. Now, last year around the holidays, I got a little carried away. I bought 3 Sephora Pro palettes. I couldn't decide which one I want. I got the warm, the cool, and the Bold Obsessions, I think it's called? No, that's Milani. Electric? One or the other. I will put it here on the screen. I bought all 3 of them. And each one of the palettes is beautiful in its own right. I've made looks with all of them. I've used them. The neutral one, the warm tone one is beautiful. The cool tone one is really nice also. Like, it's nice to have a dedicated palette for warms, a dedicated palette for cools, and then a dedicated palette for colors. And that's why I really like those 3 palettes and why I couldn't choose between them. But now that I have them, I have them. I don't need more nudes. And this palette is called New Nudes, and it's just, I don't need it, you know? I don't need it. It's expensive. $68 is a lot. And while they are great palettes, they're not the best shadows I've ever tried. There's a lot of fallout, and some do need building up. Others need extra blending. Like, that's fine. But the palettes are huge. They don't travel well. And I already have that color story. I don't really need any more. So I'm going to be passing on that one. And actually all the other Sephora Pro palettes that are supposed to be coming out, I will be passing on all of them as well. They're not a cohesive color story, if that makes sense, compared to the ones that came out last year, where I thought that, yes, this is all warms, you are correct. Yes, this is all cool tones, you are correct. Yes, this is a very colorful palette, you are correct. But this time coming out with, I just feel like when you come out with a palette that has like 35 shades in it, or 25 shades, or anything above, 12 shades, if you have a variety of colors, it just gets so like messy and all over the place almost. So I'm just not interested in any of those. So I went over those. Next, we have this gem right here is the Natasha Denona Safari palette. And just by saying Natasha Denona, you can already guess what the price point on this is going to be. This palette right here is a whopping $129. Yes, $129 for one palette. That's a lot. That's a lot. The color scheme on this is actually really quite pretty. I really like it. It's giving me like grungy fall vibes. It reminds me a lot of the Anastasia one. What was it called? The Subculture. It's reminding me of the Subculture palette. A lot of the shades are dark. Hopefully they're like really pigmented, because companies seem to be afraid of dark shades. It's either a dark brown or a deep black. And other than that, like, I feel like there are no like rich, deep matte shades out there. So this is a nice palette. It has a lot of deep matte shades, if that makes sense. I just can't justify $129. That's a lot of money for one eyeshadow palette. So I will be skipping out on this one, but I'm really, really excited to see what people come up with. I'm really excited to see different tutorials and stuff on it, because it is a really nice palette. And I feel like if I were to purchase a Natasha Denona palette, it would be this one. But I'm going to hold off. I'm not that intrigued. I'm not intrigued enough to spend $129 on that palette. So speaking of expensive palettes, Pat McGrath, Mothership V, I believe I saw this is what it was, $125, and you don't get all the shadows that Natasha Denona gives you. No, I don't even think you get half of that. Okay, either way, that's a lot of money for an eyeshadow palette, but this is pretty, but it's not $125 pretty. Okay, next, let's talk about this palette right here. This is the Becca Volcano Goddess. Okay, yes, this is the Becca Volcano Goddess eyeshadow palette. This is what she looks like. It's pretty packaging. I'm just not interested. It doesn't intrigue me. It doesn't look like anything that I don't already have, so I'm skipping on it. It's $46. It's just meh, I guess. I don't know. And again, we're not talking about any palettes that are included in any new collections. I'm just talking about single palettes that are coming out on their own and that are not categorized as holiday. So the next palette we have is the Makeup Geek Pumpkin Spice eyeshadow palette. And it's an alright palette, but it's not exciting. It's $35. You get 9 shades. I feel bad because I love Makeup Geek shadows and the shades are pretty. It's just not exciting. It's not. So I won't be picking that up. One more palette I am stalling on is this right here. This is the Goddess Glow by Estee Lauder. And this is like Estee Lauder. Did I just say Estee Lauder? Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder. I'm supposed to sound French when I say it because that's what it is, right? Estee Lauder. Okay, so this is the palette by Estee Lauder, and I've never been more underwhelmed about a palette. This color scheme is so overdone. And you have a black and a brown matte, and everything else is shimmer. And yeah, okay, maybe they're pretty shimmers, but can anybody tell me that they don't have anything like this in their collection by now? It's just, there's an overwhelmingly large amount of palettes coming out. And I just feel like if a palette doesn't make me do a double take, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need this on my eyeballs now, then what's the point? There's no point. So I'll be skipping on that. And then the last palette that I will be skipping on is this E.L.F. palette. This is $14, and this is a pretty palette. It's a nice palette. I like it, but it's nothing that I don't already have. And I just recently watched a tutorial by Kathleen Lights, and she was, I believe this was the palette that she was using. And while I thought that, she said they were blending out really, really nicely and everything, and while I agreed her look was pretty, I kind of think it looked a little patchy, and I don't know if it was just like the lighting or whatever, but I wasn't that excited or thrilled by it, I guess. So it's a great price point. If you're looking for a palette at a great price point and you like these sort of tones, then by all means, have at it. $14 is incredible compared to some of these other palettes, and I can't even tell you if they're worth it. So those are all of the eyeshadow palettes that I will be stalling on. Incredible, right? Usually eyeshadows is like my biggest thing, but we're just talking about eyeshadows, like eyeshadows alone. Now wait until we talk about the eyeshadow palettes that are coming out in collections. That is where I have problems. Some great collections coming out, just saying. Okay, so now let's head into the palettes that I am really interested in installing, and let's head into the palettes that I'm really interested in hauling, and I'm going to shock you with one of these. So I only have two. Well, we're going to categorize the first one as two, but they are actually way more than two. Here they are, right here. Boom. 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 These are stunning. 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 So these are the Huda Beauty. The Huda Beauty Precious Stones palettes. They are $27 each. They are incredible. They just launched on Sephora, and I'm so excited. I already have 3 of them in my cart. I want the green one, the blue one, and the red one. Oh yeah. I'm so excited. I have one of her Obsessions palettes, the electric one, and I love it. Those palettes, those shadows blend so beautifully, so effortlessly, but the problem with that palette is that it's so bold, and sometimes I want shadows with that along that formula that are not so bold and bright, because you know I can't exactly show up at work with bright blue eyeshadow. I would love to, but they're kind of, people are gonna look at me strange. And so I really wanted something with the same formula. I mean, I guess I'm talking about not wearing bold blue eyeshadow, and now I'm buying a blue palette, a green palette, and a red palette. I'm also going to be getting her Smoky Obsessions one, the one that has black and silver. And yeah, but I'm so excited. I really, really, really love that eyeshadow formula, and I'm really, really excited. So I'm very interested in hauling those eyeshadows. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to shake you to your very core, and I almost feel like I'm going to lose all credibility right now by bringing this up. But whatever. Here they are. I guess they just have to be like honorable mentions. They're not exactly eyeshadow palette. It's not exactly an eyeshadow palette. They're eyeshadows, singles. I don't know if they'll be coming out like with a deal if you buy them all these specific ones in a palette, but these are the new Kylie Cosmetics single shadows, and I heard that Kylie Cosmetics is supposed to be coming to Ulta. I'm hoping that they'll be coming with these. They'll be coming soon. Camera died, just overheated and shut off. So yes, Kylie Cosmetics single eyeshadows, and I've never purchased a thing from Kylie Cosmetics before. And this is the first time I've ever like really been intrigued by something from her. These shadows look beautiful. I don't know if it's just the way that they're arranged in the pan, but in the palette, but they're really pretty. But they are giving me like ColourPop single shadow vibes. I mean, I believe these are $7 each, so it's not that big of a price jump. So we'll see. We'll see, but I got my eye on them, so I'm definitely considering hauling them. So yeah, are you shook? Are you shaken? Are you like completely baffled and stupidified by what I just said? Never ordered anything from Kylie. I've been adamant that I don't really ever want to, but I may reconsider for some beautiful eyeshadows. It is all about the makeup after all. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My hauling or stalling eyeshadow edition. Like I said, I will be coming out with many more of these since we are being flooded with new makeup. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you plan on picking up any of these palettes, if you agree with what I said, if you don't agree with what I said, just say hi. And yeah, that's everything for today. Again, thanks so much for sticking around. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.